Okay, so in this video, we are gonna be painting him, creating a material, and then lighting him, and then compositing him. So this video is gonna have a whole lot of content. So first thing first, as you know, we already have this face set, and we're gonna be using that face set. I've already talked about this, that we are gonna be using this face set in order to create the paint. So let's actually just do that. As you can see, I am already in the sculpt mode, and I am already just at my paintbrush. So the first thing we are gonna be doing is we are gonna be isolating this particular face set, and I am just moving around the reference, because again I've told you it is a commentary, so some things might not be at the sync, and that's just gonna be a little bit embarrassing for me. So yes, right now I am just trying to figure out a brush. I cannot find a brush. I don't know what brush. I'm like, okay, color filter. Yes, we are going to be using the color filter and the fill option so that we can basically just fill the black patches. But before that, obviously, we're going to have to fill the main color, the brown color or the golden color in this case. So you can see that you can actually just select a color, and you can just left click on your model and drag to the right. So that's basically how you would be able to fill a color, and you can clearly see we've just done that. But there is a problem with this, and that problem is we're gonna have to figure out if this color is working or not. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to, just look at the color with the material and in the render viewport. So in order to do that, this is a temporary lighting, by the way. I'm just going to be adding an HDRI, and this is a temporary lighting. It is just to check whether the color is gonna work or not. So in this case, you can see we are at the EV. I need to switch to cycles because the final render is going to be in the cycles. So it is better to just look at the color in the cycle. And in order to use the color, by the way, that particular setting stores in your color attributes, as you can see. So we are gonna be using the attribute node, and we're gonna just plug that in. So now let's actually make it metallic because we want to create some golden kind of a color, right? And as you can see, this is what the color is looking like. If you want to, you can actually just work with this. But what I'll do, I'll actually just disconnect the node, like the attribute node, and I am just going to figure out the color that I want. So right now I'm just figuring out the color, and you're gonna see a cut now, and this is basically the color that I feel like is gonna work best. So now I am just going to go to the hex value and copy the color. This is in order to store the color basically, and now we can just go to the sculpt mode. We can just paste this color to the fill tool. So I am just gonna do that. So if I were to go to my color filter, not filter, is it filter? Yep, filter, and just paste the color there, and now I can just fill this color. So this color is going to be accurate to the color that we have just tested out, and this is the way you can actually do this. So just test out the base color and just fill it like this. Now I'm gonna go to my paintbrush, and obviously I'm going to be choosing this brush, and now I'm gonna be putting this color in the color palette. And the reason is, let's just say that if you are painting something, for example over here, and you did something wrong and now you wanna erase that particular color, what you can do, you can actually just from the color palette choose the base color. For example, I'm doing right now, and then just paint with it. So this color is now gonna be your eraser. So this is basically the workflow you can use in order to paint your whole object out. And yeah, we basically have the setup. So let's actually start with the darker tones. I am not gonna be changing the colors, but just the values. And that's what I am doing right now. I have changed the value, basically darken the value up. So first thing first, you can see the nose is a little bit darker. So I am just gonna do that. Obviously, I'm not really looking for the likeness, but I'm looking for the bigger colors. And in terms of bigger color, the nose is a little bit darker. So I'm just gonna be darkening the nose in the sculpture as well. After that, obviously, we are gonna be doing the patches. We are gonna be doing the nose itself, like the pink part of the nose, and the eyelid part. So these are some of the things that we are gonna be doing. And as you can see in the mouth area, we also have a little bit of darkness. So I am just trying to do the same over there. And I am also adding a little bit of darker tones behind, not behind, but beneath the cheekbone, so that I basically can get a little bit of ambient occlusion kind of a look. And now I'm just doing the same thing with the eyelids as well. So again, I'm not really just copying what I'm saying, because again, it is a golden kind of a sculpture and you cannot just copy the color exactly, because that's not what the purpose of this sculpture is. So yeah, you can actually see that I am just broadly creating the volume differences, not the volume, the value differences. And after I'm done with that, we are gonna be using the face sets in order to do the patches that we have in the tiger. So you can see this is the color, but the transition is not really that good. So you can just go to the color filter, and then the filter type could be smooth. And now you can actually just left click drag onto the right to make this particular color a little bit smoother. We are also going to be using that in the eyes, so that's nice. And now you can see that the color have a little bit better transition, so that's actually good. Now we can actually, let's see what I'm gonna be doing now. Okay, I think I am gonna be doing the patches now. So let's just by pressing H, you can isolate the face set, and now you can actually either fill it right now, but I am kind of dumb, so I am just creating a mask, and then I'm going to be unhide everything. Now I am going to be inverting the mask by Control I. So yeah, you can see. So now you can actually just go to your filter type. So just okay, yeah, go to the filter type and then just select the black color. And yeah, this is how you would use your face set in order to create the colors. So now that we have the colors as well, we can actually just blend these by doing a smooth transition. So in order to do that, obviously the filter type is going to be smooth. So let's just do that, and now let's just smooth it out a little bit. Yep, just smooth it out, and you can see that we didn't really had to do a whole lot of efforts. Blender have already created some really nice looking paint and some really nice looking patches. I don't really have to do a whole lot of manual stuff, but we're gonna have to manually paint the whisker part where those dots are from the mustache is coming out. I still have no idea what do you even call those, but we can actually do some manual stuff. For example, the eyelids, we can create the eyelids a little bit darker, because in the render, not in the render, in the reference, the eyelids are literally black. So we're gonna have to do that as well. And in the nose is going to be a little bit darker, even though it is pink in the reference. But I think that we cannot really change the color. I mean, technically we can, but it would not really look that good. So I'm just going to be darkening the nose as well. And in this case, you can see that I'm just darkening the eyelids. I am only darkening the edges part, if you can say it like this, like the inner area. But I am gonna like behind the scene gonna be making the eyelids darker. So now we don't have face set for these. As you can see, the whisk, I don't even know what do you call them, but these like pores, you can say, where the hairs are coming out. So we're gonna have to do all of these manually, and we're gonna have to do the nose manually. As you can see, I have to increase the strength to 1 so that I can paint it with pure black. And yeah, this is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. And in the next part of the video, if you want to, you can just click on the timestamp and then just jump ahead the video where I am gonna be using this paint and start creating a material from it. So if you want to, you can just do that. But if you really want to see me painting the whole tiger, you can actually just stay. But yes, you can see that I am manually painting all these dots, and after I'm done painting, I also need to create some randomness, because if you don't create randomness, it is not really gonna look that nice and natural. It is important to create some natural randomness so that it would just look fantastic. So after I'm done with these filling up of holes, again, I don't want to do a whole joke. I've already done so many of them. But after I'm done filling up these holes with the black color, I'll just revisit them and make them a little bit natural, a little bit random. So that's basically what the idea is. So you can clearly see what I am doing right now. I mean, I don't know. This is pretty repetitive, and these are some of the parts where I literally just get stuck in order to commentate something. But still, you can see we have this, and now I'm just gonna revisit them and start making them a little bit. Okay, wait. Before I do that, I'm gonna be creating a mask, and then I'm just gonna be masking all of these out because I wanna smooth these out a little bit in order to give a little bit of better transition, because right now these dots are a little bit sharper. So I am just masking these out. As you can see, the idea is, again, I've told you that I am going to be smoothing these out by inverting the mask. So that's basically the idea. And obviously we're going to go to the color filter. In order to do that, we are going to be using the smooth. So let's just do that. We are already at the smooth filter type, so that's nice. And now you can actually switch to flat mode in order to look exactly how the color is looking. So now you can see that we actually have a smoother transition. And even with the smoother transition, I am just gonna go to these dots, basically revisit them and start making a little bit of variation as well. And that's just gonna be how things are gonna work. I mean, you have to create some stuff manually in order to make your sculpture look nice. I mean, the sculpt itself is already pretty nice, and we have done almost everything manually. I don't think that I've done anything that was not manual. So, yep, if you do actually want to create some really nice looking result, you have to make sure that you do everything precisely manually if you have to do it. I'm not saying that manual way is always going to be the best way, but you're gonna have to spend time if you really want to achieve nice looking result. That's just the reality of it. Unless you're using mid journey, you can actually get pretty nice result in no time. But then again, that's kind of cheating. So yeah, I mean, I'm not obviously against mid journey. It obviously is good that you are getting more and more tools, but mid journey is literally like, it is just giving you the art like directly. It's not even a tool at this point. It's just it's like a vending machine. You put some words in and it just give you the art. I mean, I'm obviously not against it. It is pretty good to do the concept work, by the way. But right now, it is obviously not doing the 3D models. So for the 3D artist, we are actually kind of safe right now, and that's pretty nice. But yeah, you can see that I am manually just darkening the inner part as well. And again, I don't know what to commentate because you can already see what I'm doing right now. And I obviously didn't wanted any light to go like to highlight the inner part, and that's why I'm actually just doing this particular part black. And obviously we gonna have to create this black because why not? If we can, we should actually just do it. And if you if you feel like that you don't like anything, you can always just choose the base color and use that base color as a eraser. And one thing that I do want to say, whenever you pick your color, you can actually pick your color by pressing S, which I'm going to do in the future. I don't know why I'm talking about it, but I am going to be blending some colors as well. And you're going to see that. Not exactly blending, actually. I'm just going to be picking up some colors and I am just going to start painting the nose. But right now you can see that I'm doing the inner part of the ears. And again, the idea is to just make the inner part a little bit darker so that the less light would go in and it would just give the some sort of AO kind of a look. And now you can see that we have just darker tones, basically in between tones. It's not black, it's not the base color, so I can just pick this color. You can also use the shortcut S. S means submarine, S means ship. So yeah, you can actually just do that. And now you can see if you have your object in studio light mode, your color won't be accurate if you were to pick them. And that's what I was demonstrating. It also picked the lighting that was that was blender causing basically in this particular view. So always go into the flat mode in order to pick your colors, and that way your pick is going to be accurate. So just do that. And now you can see that I am basically just making the nose a little bit darker. It's not exactly black, because again the nose is not supposed to be black, but I am darkening it up a little bit so that it would be different from the other part of the mouth, not the mouth but the face, and it would basically just stand out. So that's the reason. And now you can see that's how the nose is, and now we can actually just pick up this color and start making it a look better. And you can like clearly see what's happening, so that's pretty nice, right? And someone have sent me a friend request on Epic Games. I literally don't have that many views on my YouTube videos, but some friends are willing to be my, not friends, some people are willing to be my friends. I mean 28, literally just give me 28 views on the video, that would be much better for me. But yeah, we can actually just ignore that, and now we can actually just add some darker like black tones in the middle, because why not, as much variation as we possibly can, right? So this is basically again something similar. I am just trying to make sure that it looks nice, and we are actually pretty much done. I don't think that I am gonna be doing anything else. So okay, I guess I am gonna be adding some darker tones. Yeah, you can see that I'm adding the darker tones beneath the cheekbones. Again, this is just to give the hint of ambient occlusion, the AO, and you don't really have to do this. Again, this is a sculpture, so obviously the painting is gonna be easier. And if you really wanna learn painting, I think this should be easy to understand. And now we're gonna have to paint the eye. So again, I'm gonna have to apply the mirror modifier and then apply the subdivision, because you cannot actually paint on a modified, like especially the subdivision and the multi-res, so you cannot do that. And in order to continue painting, you're gonna have to apply that. I am adding two more subdivisions, as you can see, and I have also applied that so that we can actually get a little bit of resolution to paint on, right? And now we can actually just look at the color of the eye, and basically just instead of filling this time, I'm just going to be painting it. So let's just go to the paint brush, and you can see the yellowish kind of a tone that we have. So let's just do that. I am gonna go into the paintbrush. Obviously, we're gonna have to increase the value, and now let's just try a color. Again, this is something that you can just figure out in the render. Oh, you can see that the brush is not really working nicely. It is getting smaller because the scale is not applied. So you're gonna have to apply the scale so that the brush itself does not get smaller. And now the brush is working fine, so now you can actually just continue painting. And yeah, you can see that we have the paint pretty fast. And yeah, let's actually just start creating some darker tones. So the darker tones are going to be at the upper eyelid and at the lower eyelid. So the reason for that is I basically want to give a hint of ambient occlusion again. And if you don't want to, you don't really need to do this, but I really just wanted to do that. So now if you were to go to your color filter, and if you were to smooth it out, you're gonna see that we are gonna be able to get some really nice looking transition. And now you can see that we do have a really nice looking transition, which is indeed looking pretty nice. So yeah, we can actually just continue painting now. That okay, so the symmetry was not on, and yep, this does actually happen to me a whole lot of time. I've been sculpting things for so long, but I still forget to sometimes enable the symmetry. But it is totally fine. You can pretty easily just do the symmetrization. But before you do that, you need to make sure that the origin is at the middle, and you can actually just symmetrize. But because the origin was at the eyeball, it basically just mirrored the eyeball on itself. So we're gonna have to go into the object tool mode, and we're gonna have to put the origin at the 3D cursor, you can see. So right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and now that the origin is at the middle, it should symmetrize nicely. So just symmetry, and the direction is positive x to negative x, because on the positive side of the x-axis we have the paint, and we want to transfer the positive x paint to the negative x paint. I really hope that made sense. By the way, you can see in the gizmo that we are literally working on the positive x-axis side. Now we can actually just paint the middle part, so this like black dot. But before I do that, you can see that I'm adding a little bit of darker tones in the middle, Even though I think I should have added the like some lighter tones, but for some reason I've added the black. Maybe it was something that was going through my mind at that particular point. Obviously, whenever you do a break, for example, this is actually a break, right? I'm just recording right now because I have already completed this project, and after a break, you literally just look at your portraits or look at your project with a different or a fresh mindset, and you basically just look at the mistakes. But it is not a mistake, right? It is just an opinion, and opinions can change pretty frequently. So yeah, maybe this actually have worked better. I don't know, but yeah, I could have also added a little bit of a lighter tone basically. But right now it is working, and the project is pretty nice. So I'm not really gonna complain now. And you can see that I'm figuring out the position of the dot itself. You can actually just rotate your eyeball if you feel like that you cannot figure out the dot. You just can rotate your eyeball, and it is just gonna be easier to figure out the placement of this particular part. So this dot is, I think, iris, right? Iris, pupil, I mean, whatever you wanna call it. But we are pretty much done with the painting, and as you can see, I am gonna go into the object mode, and the reason that I'm doing that is because I am gonna be using this paint in order to create a material. But we have already created the material, right? So I don't think there is anything else for me to explain. And I guess I am. Let's see. So okay, I am actually adding the camera. So I am gonna be doing the lighting now. And instead of creating the materials, which we already did, I think I've already shown you that the color attribute node is the node that you use in order to um, create your material. So that particular node is going to go into your base color. But now let's actually just set up the camera. The camera is obviously not going to be in the front. It is going to be in the third, fourth kind of a view. And you can see the resolution of the camera. The ratio of the camera is 1:1. You can see that the resolution or the ratio, sorry, the ratio of the camera is not in the landscape or in the portraits. It is 1:1. So we are just gonna be using that. And this is the position of the camera. I am going to push the camera a little bit above because the camera was a little bit down, and we're gonna have to rotate the camera on the. Oh wait, I am just pushing the camera up on the z-axis. So that's what I've just did, and I think the camera's position is good. So now we can actually just continue lighting. Oh, that's useful as well. You can actually just set up your origin, not the origin, but the pivot point at 3D cursor, and you can just rotate your camera around your model. So that's also a tip that you can actually use if you are a beginner and didn't know it. So now we can actually just use the color attribute node in order to create the material. I thought that I've already created the material, but I have not created the material. So let's just do that. And by Control B, you can just clump the render part, and you can see that we have gotten the colors. So we can actually use this in order to create a material. I am not really gonna be, creating a complex material. I am just gonna keep everything simple. The only thing that I wanna add is the geometry node. And now by pressing Control Shift click few times, you can actually just go to the pointiness. And in order to do this same thing, Control Shift click thing, you just have to go to the add-ons and then just type in node. So node, and you're gonna see this add-on called node wrangler. Just enable that, and now you should be able to do this thing. So we're gonna have to increase the contrast. So we're gonna have to add the color ramp, and let's actually increase the black area because the object was pretty white. We wanted to add some black, so let's increase the black, and let's just increase it a little bit more so that we can get the whites. So the whites are going to be the pointy thing, and whichever thing we have at the corner is going to be white. So now we can use this white to make the corners a little bit brighter. The idea is to make the corners a little bit sharper so that they can pick up the light, and it would just look nicer. And we're gonna have to not use the add because add literally puts the white on top. I don't want to put the white on top, but I want to brighten these things up. You can see now we are making the things brighter, at the edges. So that is what I wanted to do. And now we are gonna be using this into the base color. So this was before, and this was with the node. And yeah, that's actually just look at it with the base color, like with the principal BSTF. So that's how it is looking. And now we can actually just continue the lighting now that we have set it up our material. So let's just go to the 3D viewport. And I am just gonna be removing the lighting of the HDRI. We don't really need it anymore because we are gonna be creating our own lighting. So first thing first, I really like to work with the area light, by the way, because area light I feel like is the most accurate one. And we are gonna be using the 3 point setup, 3 light setup, or whatever you call that. So the first light is going to be the key light, and it is going to be your main light. So this light that I am adding is going to be the key light, and we are just gonna be using this to create some nice looking hard light, basically, if you can say that. So key light, as the name suggests, it is basically going to be your main light, but I am just setting it up right now. We're gonna have to increase the strength. Obviously right now the strength is not really that much, so let's just use the 10. It was not really looking that good in the back, so I'm gonna be pushing it in the front. And if you were to click on the yellow dot, by the way, you can literally just uh, change the direction of the light. So by dragging this yellow point to your model, it can just change the direction of your light. So that's pretty easy to do. And now you can see that we are basically creating the main light, and that main light is going to be on our left. We're gonna have to increase the strength a little bit. Right now the strength is not really that good. By the way, if you wanna showcase your sculpture or your sculpting, make sure your key lighting is actually small, because the more smaller your key lighting, the sharper the shadows are going to be, and more the details are gonna be like revealed, or you're gonna be able to see more details, basically. So this second one is going to be the fill light, because we didn't really had anything on the right side, and I'm talking from my perspective. Because we didn't really had on the right side, I had to create a fill light to fill that particular part. And the fill light is usually going to be your bigger light, and it is also going to be far, because we don't really want it to be harsh, and we don't want it to overtake our key light, basically. So we're gonna have to push it behind, and in this case, not behind, what am I saying, we're gonna have to push it back a little bit. And this is going to be our fill light. And you can see that I'm also increasing the strength. By the way, the bigger the size of your light, the lower the strength of it becomes, so we're gonna have to increase the strength. And now we're gonna have to create the rim light, so that we can actually just separate the main object out from the background. So you can see the background is black, and now we can actually put a light behind to make the right part of the model a little bit whiter, and it just looks good that way. You can see what we have. And the only light that we are gonna have to add is the bottom light, because at the bottom you actually cannot see anything happening. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna be just copying the material. So in order to do that, select the eye and the main object, and then just press Ctrl L, and then just link the material. So now we have the same material in the eye as well. One thing you can do, you can actually just select the eye, and I am not really doing that right now, but you can just select the eye, and you can just make the eye itself a little bit more sharper in terms of reflection, because right now you cannot really see any reflection in the eye. So I'm just gonna do that. But before I do that, I've realized that this part of the eye is pretty flat. Like the upper eyelid is actually pretty flat. I need to add a little bit of volume there, so I am just gonna be doing that. I know that this video is supposed to show you the way of lighting, the way of painting, the way of compositing, but we're gonna have to fix this, and it's just part of the process. So we're gonna be using the draw brush, because draw brush does not remove the underneath details. As you can see, the clay strip brush basically just destroy whatever you have underneath. So we cannot use the clay strip brush in this situation. We're gonna have to use the draw brush, because draw brush retains the details underneath. And after we are done adding the volume in this particular case, I am actually just gonna go back to the painting and rendering. Actually, not painting because we are already done with the painting, but with rendering, lighting, and compositing. Okay, so I did speed that particular part up because I felt like it was not really that interesting for you. So now we can actually just focus on the eye, and actually not the eye, but the rendering that we are doing and the lighting. So the next light, I think let's just see what I'm gonna be doing. So I really want some fill light to make this a little bit brighter, and in order to do that, I have just enabled the HDRI, and I am just gonna be clicking on the transparent by going into the film section so that we don't actually see what's behind our object, and we can actually just render out an alpha so that we can pretty easily just use this alpha in order to compose it in Photoshop. And yes, we are gonna be compositing it in Photoshop, but in the next video I'll promise you that we are gonna do everything in Blender. So yes, now I actually want a light beneath, and before that you can see that I'm actually pointing out the mustache, which we don't have. So we can actually add a little bit of mustache right now, and it should be easy to do because we are going to be using the curves in order to do that. And these mustaches are not going to be like super accurate or super nice. We just want something there, some random hairs, and it should just work, you know. So that's basically what the idea is. You can see that we have 2 points of the curves. We can actually just drag first curve onto the right on the x-axis basically, and now we can actually just select the second one. So if I can actually select the second one, yes, I can just, you know, just shape these down. Again, this part is going to be time lapse as well because I don't think this is like super important. So I'm just gonna do mustache pretty quickly, and then I'll just continue commentating. Okay, so we have the mustache, and now I'm just gonna be joining them together, and we're gonna be using the mirror modifier, and the mirror object is going to be the head itself. So we have the mustache now, and now you can actually just change the material as well. So you can just go over here and change the base color to something darker or something brighter. It is totally up to you, whichever you feel like is working for you. And now we can actually just continue. Oh, wait, I think I'm going to push them back. Oh, by the way, behind the scene, I also have just randomized the length of these because right now they're not really looking that random. So behind the scene, I've just done that, and I just wanted to tell you that because just in case if you are wondering. So now we have this render. The only thing that I feel like we need to do is to duplicate the light and start playing with the colors. Spoiler alert, the color didn't end up working that nicely, so I just had to use the whites instead of the color lights, and that's pretty much what I have just done in this video in terms of lighting. The only light that I add now is a light beneath, which I'm going to be doing right now. I don't know why I'm not doing it, by the way. So let's just do that. You can see the beneath part is pretty dark. So I am just going to be duplicating the fill light. I am going to be putting it in the center by Alt G and Alt R. And now we're going to have to rotate it upward. So let's just rotate it on the X or the Y axis. Totally up to you. We can actually just lower it down, or actually, let's just see what I'm gonna be doing. So obviously the power needs to be a little bit lower, and I think it works. The 100 watt works. So I am just gonna be keeping this and creating a render, or maybe lower down the strength a little bit more. So in this case, I'm doing 20. Yep. So 20 is working, and now you can see that the render is in the Photoshop. So I have rendered that out, and now we are just gonna be using the Photoshop in order to do the compositing. So first thing first, we need to create some blur behind the tiger so that we can actually just create some really nice looking gradient. And right now the black background is not really looking that cool, so we're gonna have to do that. And then we're gonna be start painting it like the background. So first thing first, you can see that I have duplicated the tiger, and now I'm just gonna go to the Gaussian blur to blur it out, so you can see what we are getting right now. And you can just blur it out and put it behind. So yeah, you can see that we have the blur, but the problem is we don't have blur everywhere, and we're gonna have to fix that. So in order to do that, we are going to be selecting a brush, and then we are gonna be start painting where we want the gradient. And you can see that I have basically just start painting it. So idea is I'm gonna start painting, and then if I were to blur it out, which I'm gonna do right now, so after painting I'm going to blur it again. You can see we have the gradient now all over, like all around the tiger. And this is what I wanted. And now you can actually just decrease the opacity of it to make it look like this. But this is obviously not good enough, so we're gonna have to start painting now. And in order to do that, okay, I'm blurring it out again for some reason. But actually, do you know what, now that I've realized, you don't even have to do this blur kind of thing. You can actually just paint out stuff. But before we do that, I am gonna do one more thing, and that thing is I basically want to make the corners a little bit darker. So in order to do that, I am going to be creating a circle like this. And now I'm just going to be pressing Control Shift I to invert the selection. So Control Shift I, you can see, and now fill everything with the black color. So Alt backspace is going to be your shortcut in order to do that. You have to make sure that the color black is selected, by the way. And you can see that we have this circle where, like, you can see what's happening, right? I cannot speak. And now we're just gonna have to blur this out, and you can decrease the opacity in order to get something like this. But this is something that I do with basically most of the things. And the reason is, sometimes whenever you are using a camera, a real camera, you do get some darker tones on the edges of your images. So that is something that I've actually tried to replicate. And now we can actually just to create a paint layer, and we can actually just continue painting. But before I do that, you're gonna see that I'm gonna start checking some of the brushes. For example, if I were to go to my brushes, you can see we have these, and you can actually just select any of these. For example, like we have so many of these, you can just pick whichever one you really want to. And you can actually just see how the brush basically behaves. And it is totally up to you, by the way. You can just choose whichever one is working for you. And I am going to be using this one, like this dots one, and this one, I think the one that I have selected currently. So these two ones are basically what I am going to be using for the painting of background. And yeah, this is, I am actually just still checking out the brushes, by the way, just in case if you are wondering. Let me just cut out this part. Okay, so finally I have finalized the brush, and this is the brush that I am gonna be using. So the first thing that I wanna do is I wanna separate out the background from the foreground. And one thing that is important to see over here is, wherever you have the light direction, in our case the light direction is on the top left corner, right? You're gonna have to paint that with white, and you basically just need to create a really nice looking transition. Right now I'm just separating out the tiger, and this is basically what I'm doing right now. And now we can actually, this is something that you can do later as well. But what you can do, you can actually just select the tiger's color itself and start blending it with the background. So this is something that you can do, but it is something that you can also do a little bit later. What I'm doing right now is I basically have just started blending it from the start, but you can actually just do this particular thing later. And you're gonna see that I've realized that I can actually do the lighting first, and I'm just doing it right now for some reason. Let's actually just, okay, this is embarrassing, not gonna lie. It is supposed to be a tutorial, but this approach is not the right one. I mean, I can do it obviously, but in the tutorial, I didn't really realize. Again, I do want to say this. This is a commentary, and I had no idea that I am going to be just, doing a commentary over it. If I would have known that this is going to go on YouTube, I would have approached it the right way. And yep, this is basically my excuse. But yeah, you can see that I've also started blending this bottom part, and we basically have this. So now I guess I am actually gonna be painting the background now. I don't know. I have selected the outer layer, and let's see what else am I gonna be doing. Okay, now I have selected the brush that I've talked about, and I've told you that the light direction is going to be essential in this case. And in our case, the light is coming from the top left corner, so that part is going to be white. And you can see we're gonna have to disable that top layer, because of that top layer we are actually getting this darker tone. So you can see that I'm blocking out the color, and as I've told you, I've actually told you this 2 times, I think. At the top left corner, we are going to be painting with black, and at the bottom, we are just gonna start blending it to the black. So at the top left, we are gonna be painting with white, and now we are just gonna start blending basically. So you can see that I am just choosing the similar color, and now we can actually just choose this random brush and start painting. And this is something that's gonna be, I don't know, like it is, if you do know painting a little bit in Photoshop, by the way, you should be able to just do this pretty easily. But now you can see that I have the black color, and I just wanted to create a transition between black and the white. And this is pretty much what I'm doing right now. You can see even in the top, not in the top, but in the bottom right corner, I'm just trying to paint with the black. And now with this color selected, this grayish color selected, I'm basically just trying to create a transition. And that's what the idea is. I've already blocked out the broader, like the brighter colors, and now it is time to do the transition. So that's basically what the idea is. And I am just keep on switching the brushes because I wanted to see both of these brushes are pretty similar, but still they are different brushes. So I wanted to see what what's the difference, and I actually didn't feel any difference. And now you can see that I'm just picking up the neighbor colors and start blending them, because that's how you would blend in Photoshop and even in Blender actually. Maybe in real life as well. I have not really tried painting in real life, so I don't know. But I think that should be the way you blend the colors. So just pick up the neighbor colors. As you can see, I am picking up the neighbor colors and start blending the colors. And this is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing in this entire video. I'm just gonna be start picking up the random, not the random, but the neighbor colors, and start blending the colors. So yeah, this is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. And now I wanna paint on top of the tiger. And in order to do that, I'm just painting on the top layer, like the layer that is on top of the tiger layer. And this is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing in this whole video. I'm just gonna be like blocking out the darker tones. As you can see, I've already like talked about this. And I just blend, like literally there isn't really anything else. So okay, in this case you can see I wanted the bottom right corner to be black, to be darker. So I am just blocking out the bigger colors now. And now I'm just gonna start picking the neighbor colors and just start blending them. I really think that it should be easy to understand. You don't have to be super accurate with this, by the way. You'll just get a really nice looking result by doing this, even if you don't know that much of painting. Just make sure that your opacity is low. For example, in my case it is 33%, I think. And you can actually just pick the neighbor colors and start blending. If you get the hang of blending, by the way, you can actually just watch YouTube on what? Wait, I've just said a weird sentence. You can just watch a video on YouTube on blending the colors in Photoshop. So yeah, you can actually just do that. And trust me, it is easier than it might look like. So just pick up the neighbor colors and start blending them like this. It is pretty easy, trust me. So yeah, if you don't find any videos on the YouTube, let me know. I'll basically just make a video about blending the colors. And yeah, this is pretty much what we are gonna be doing in this video. And I am actually kind of happy that this video is about to end, because actually not right now, obviously. There is a little bit of video remaining, but still, I think it's a good thing that we are gonna be finishing up this series. And you can see I am actually just trying something out. So I wanted to create some whites on the edges of the face of the tiger, and the reason that I'm doing is I just wanted to see if I can actually blend a little bit of whites over here. And in the end, I don't even remember what I've done with this. Okay, I am just trying to blur this out. Okay, so let's see if it is gonna work out or not, because I literally have forgotten if it is gonna work out. And I don't think it is gonna work out. Actually, yeah, you can see that we have this sharper lines, this sharp white line. And okay, I'm still trying to make it work, but I think in the end I'm just gonna be deleting it, if I'm being honest here with you. Let's see. I am not quite sure. Okay, so I have just disabled that layer. And yeah, I already knew that I'm gonna do something similar, because it was just not working that nicely. And I am gonna be just blending the color. For example, in this case, you can see this golden kind of a color. I can just use that and start blending this with the whiter tones that we have for the light. And yeah, just I am keep on saying blending. I really hope that it is not frustrating for you to hear the same word again and again. But yeah, this is pretty much what I've done in this entire video. You can see what we have going on right now. I am just again doing the same thing, just the same thing, picking up the colors, start blending them, nothing really else. And yeah, this is actually what I've done in this video. So now, because everything is pretty repetitive, I'm just gonna let you watch the video, and I'm gonna see you in the end of the video, where I'll just do the outro. And yeah, I'm just gonna get silent now. Okay, so we are done, and this was the process in order to create this entire image. And if you have liked the process, because we actually have covered so many things in this video, if you have liked the video, like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, this is something that you should always do. And yeah, I'm just gonna see you on the next one where we are gonna be adding the keys to him so that we can actually 3D print him. So yes, if you enjoyed it, just watch the next one as well. And I'm gonna just see you there. Bye bye.